Soft morning light spilled across Otto Elephant National Park, painting the dusty plains gold as game rangers rumbled along in open-topped land cruisers. Here, in South Africa's third largest reserve, a small team dedicated their days to watching over the park's majestic pachyderms. They knew every wrinkle in an elephant's ear, every wrinkle in its personality, and if a baby stumbled into danger, nothing would keep them from stepping in. Today, they spotted just such a peril. The plaintive trumpeting of a newborn calf trapped in a deep water hole. Ew-foo! What happened next would remind these rangers, and all of us, just how powerful kindness can be. Elephants are living legends. Towering over most animals, their ears flap like sails, and their trunks curl with grace and strength. Whether in the wild or behind zoo gates, people gasp at their grandeur. Ooh. Yet only a fraction roam free. The rest depend on human care, sometimes for their very survival. Within families, bonds run deep. Mothers teach, aunts guide, grandmothers comfort. When a calf is born, the entire herd becomes midwife, nurse, guardian, and mourner. And that day, as dawn shimmered over the scrubland, the herd's unity would be put to the ultimate test. Conservation and compassion meet at Adair Elephant National Park. Here, beneath a canopy of fever trees, elephants wander in near-wild freedom while rangers patrol discreetly, a safety net against snares and poachers. The goal, let nature work its wonders, yet be there when fate tips toward tragedy. It's a delicate dance. Intervene too often and dependence grows. Intervene too late and lives are lost. For the little calf who tumbled into a muddy pit that morning, timing would mean everything. Only days old and no taller than a large dog, the calf weighed close to 200 kilograms, too heavy to hoist out with a nudge of a trunk. When it lost its footing, it slid down a slick slope into a watering hole carved by animals and eroded by rain. Panic set in. Tiny legs flailed, trunk splashing desperately. Above, the herd gathered, trumpeting in alarm, their great grey bodies forming a protective ring. But the walls were steep, the mud solid, and no amount of spraying or stamping could free the calf from its muddy cradle, not while gravity still ruled. The adult elephants moved in unison, spraying the mud walls with trunkfuls of water to soften the bank, stamping thunderous footprints to chip away at the dam's edge. The little one wobbled, head lolling, each breath ragged with effort, yet the hole's lip held firm. Rangers watched from a distance, hearts pounding as the calf's strength ebbed. It was inspiring to see nature's family at work, but impossible to ignore the calf's slipping chances. A human hand was needed, swiftly but gently, so as not to scatter the protective herd. With a nod, one ranger signaled for the backhoe team to move in. The massive machine crawled close, its metal bucket looming over the sinking calf. Carefully, they dug into the hardened mud, carving a ramp that might lead the little elephant to safety. But the clamour of machinery and the shadow of steel alarmed the herd. They pressed inward, trunks waving, calves behind them, inadvertently pushing the trapped newborn deeper into the water. What began as salvation threatened to become disaster, and the rangers realised Plan A had failed. There, in the clearing, amidst the low moo of hyenas unseen in the brush, a bold Plan B was born. Two rangers fired up their engines and charged toward the adult herd, hooting loudly. The elephants turned as one, startled by the rumble and commotion, and retreated in a great grey tide. Once the adults were a safe distance away, vehicles screeched to a halt, forming walls of steel around the hole. Heartbeats thundered in the rangers' ears as they stepped over the rim, eyes fixed on the calf trembling below. No room for hesitation. One ranger planted his boots at the calf's flank, gently pushing, while his partner reached in to grip its damp, wrinkled side and heave with all his might. The baby's small legs kicked at the mud as it slid upward toward freedom. A collective breath caught in every chest. Human and elephant alike. At last, with a final push that left both rangers panting, the calf's trunk cleared the rim, its body teetering at the edge. For a moment, time hung still. Then the calf toppled forward into daylight, landing with a splash and a relieved trumpet. Disoriented and exhausted, the young elephant wobbled upright, blinking at the strangers who had pulled it from the mire. In gratitude or confusion, it lumbered toward them, trunk raised in playful curiosity. A 200-kilogram ball of joy barreled across the mud, eager to make new friends. It could have knocked them over like breeze-blown flowers. One ranger laughed nervously, sidestepping, gently guiding the calf back toward the open plain. The other man signaled the vehicles to stay alert, ready for the herd to return. From a ridge, the haunting call of a mother elephant rang out, rolling across the savannah like a lone horn. Instantly, the calf's ears flicked, and it bounded away, rejoining its family. The mother wrapped her trunk tenderly around its small form, lifting and rocking it in a silent dance of reunion. Slowly, the herd encircled the pair, relief radiating from their deep-set eyes. Then, in a moment that defied species, the entire group turned toward the rangers and raised their trunks in chorus, in unmistakable salute of thanks. Their trumpets thundered, echoing against rocky outcrops, as if to say, "We know you saved one of us." In that electric instant, human and elephant stood united by compassion's invisible thread. The rangers watched, hearts full, as the herd faded into the horizon, baby snuggled close to its mother's side. No words passed between them. No need. The earth itself seemed to pulse with the memory of what had just occurred, a testament to the bond that holds all creatures within the same vast circle of life. As the sun climbed higher, the rangers climbed back into their vehicles, engines idling softly. Their uniforms were splattered with mud, their faces streaked with sweat, but their souls felt light. They had stepped beyond the role of passive observers, risking great danger for the sake of a single, trembling calf. In return, they received a gift no trophy could match, the gratitude of giants. What do you believe fuels acts of kindness in the wild? Can humanity learn from the elephant's quiet courage and their capacity to forgive and thank? Share your thoughts and remember, in every corner of our shared world, compassion lights the way. Until next time, keep listening for the trumpets of the earth. As the echoes of the herd's trumpets faded into the open skies of Adu Elephant National Park, the game rangers stood still, hearts pounding, eyes wide with awe. What had just transpired felt like more than just a successful rescue. It was a moment of pure, unspoken connection between two vastly different species. For a few fleeting minutes, the line between man and animal blurred, and something deeper took its place: respect, understanding, and a shared sense of wonder. The massive elephants, with their weathered skin and wise eyes, had recognized the human effort not as intrusion, but as an act of compassion. One ranger later described the moment as a like, watching the earth itself say thank you, and the herd, typically cautious and defensive, had chosen to acknowledge the humans, not with fear or aggression, but with a chorus of trumpeting that echoed with gratitude. As the rangers climbed back into their vehicles, still buzzing from the adrenaline and emotion, one of them looked back to see the baby elephant nestled safely under its mother's belly, eyes closed, at peace. And in that stillness, with the sun setting low and golden over the horizon, the park seemed to pause too, as if the wild itself was taking a breath, smiling and whispering, "This is what harmony looks like."